All right, Kiss Army, welcome to the KissFAQ podcast. Thank you for giving us your time today and letting us into your head. I hope we don't do any damage. This is a Kiss-related podcast by the board for the board. We hope that you enjoy. Welcome to episode 99 of the KissFAQ podcast. I'm your host today, Julian Gill. It's all Andrew's fault, as he was supposed to be hosting, recording, and doing all the work with Lonnie. But instead, little Andrew, you lost your chance. We'll have to try that one again. But thank you for your efforts yesterday, and Lonnie, and I don't know who else was on that call. So thank you, everyone, for attempting to make an episode of that so that I could have the day off. Instead, here we are. Nope. Yeah, that's all right.
We couldn't pull it off without you, Julian. It wouldn't be the FAQ podcast without you. It wouldn't be the award-winning presentation that it is.
Yeah.
Right. The trophy is behind the curtain there.
My dad has issued it several awards, especially for the ones that I host.
Well, you know what? Just in case I hadn't had enough Kiss today, I'd been working on a little bit of light reading.
Why? Oh, boy.
So I'm done with it. That's actually that's itineraries. So very entertaining, very entertaining reading. Not.
Okay.
Puts you safe. So because we're doing this at the very last moment, and we've had zero thought, we're going to go back into the hat and do a topic roulette. And I've picked one of the three remaining ones that I feel like a chef on TV. Here's one I prepared earlier. Here's one of three we prepared earlier for the topic today. We're going to talk... Oh, okay. Collecting Kiss. What do you collect? What are your three current favorite Kiss-related items? What do you still want in your... What do you still want in your collection? And do you have a Holy Grail Kiss item? So, and anything else, actually, that either of you think about as topics for discussion relating to Kiss collecting. Hopefully shortly I'll be getting a beer delivered to me like that.
No. My wife came in and she was on the phone, and I was like, I told you I was coming home to record. I don't tap my hand and get beer delivered to me. Believe me, that is not the lifestyle that I live.
And that, wake up.
If you tap your hand, you get a slap upside the head, just like that.
Exactly.
Yep. All right, so let's get into a little bit of talking about our collecting passions and what's important to us. I'm just going to start it off with a couple of things that I've had arrive recently that are in reach, since this is a totally random topic. Yeah, we're unprepared. So lately, I've been collecting digital cassette tapes. So I've managed. I already had Revenge, which has been sitting up on there forever. I've just added...
Wait a minute.
Smashes, Thrashes, and Hits.
If it's digital, how can it be on tape?
Wow.
I'm not even going to go there.
All of a sudden, it starts fading out. We don't have
anymore. Sorry, there was static there. And also Alive 3. So
nice.
I have no way of playing these damn things. I mean...
No. You can't play them.
Also DAT sitting around, but I think there's one other one for the Kiss collection, and I'm not sure if it's Crazy Nights or Hot in the Shade was also made in that format, so maybe one of the collectors with a little bit of knowledge on that really arcane side of things out there could chime in on one of the threads and let me know if there is a Hot in the Shade or a Crazy Nights digital cassette for me to add to my pointless collection. I'll probably I'll be bored of these by the time it comes time to go to LA, and I'll probably sell them down there.
Did they ever do one of those mini cassettes? Did they ever do one of those? Or
the mini
wasn't a mini micro? I don't know what they were called them. They tried to replace the cassettes with these smaller versions, and I guess it never took off. So
yeah, I don't think they did. I know a few years ago I was in Best Buy. And they had this, I think it was like a USB or an SD card that had Greatest Kiss on it, or some, release back then. It might have been Icons.
Yeah. I remember
like a stick?
Yeah, some like Sony, I think it was.
Sony sound.
Yeah, Sony memory stick, maybe something like that. But it also had a package. not as bad as the long box format with CDs wasting everything. And that's the only alternate kind of format I've seen other than your usual cassette 8-track, LP, CD, and reel. So that's something I've added to my collection lately. What about you guys?
Well, I'll go, I guess. I have, it's not right, but I've been collecting some vinyls that seem interesting to me. I have one coming from, was it Argentina?
Ooh, what?
I think it's the what is it called?
Mas Caliente,
Caliente
El Forno,
cover.
Hotter Than Hell.
Yeah. Exactly, Hotter Than Hell version with the nice cover. I like that cover, so that's one of the only reasons I'm getting it is because of the cover, and it's pretty good shape. It looks like, so that should be arriving within the week. So other than that, yeah, it's pretty much right now I'm collecting sometimes certain vinyls, or I am working on the new stuff that comes out, if it's music related or video, like Las Vegas, the live Las Vegas show and that kind of thing, I'll buy, but I'm not going to buy some of the other weird stuff that comes out. The Hello Kitty and that stuff.
Like
I'm just
big stuffed animals that Andy shows off that he has.
Yeah. The bears, right? There's bears.
That's when I kind of hide my face a little bit. Aren't you a Kiss fan?
Yeah. I mean, in the old days, I used to buy anything pretty much. I just bought a lot of it. When I was real young, of course, I'd be walking through a store at the mall, and it was one of those stores that had the trash cans lined up along the top, like a top shelf, and trash cans of this or that artist, or it could be Batman, it could be anything. And I remember picking the Kiss one up from one of those stores.
Right.
But pretty much right now it's mostly vinyl, and if Julian puts out a book, of course I definitely buy those.
Lonnie. Look at that.
I might just do that next week, Ken. Might just next week.
I buy that.
Oh.
So when you talk about new vinyl, did you or have you gotten they called it an LP, the Kiss Cruise 6 LP. I'm sorry, it's a 12-inch single. It is not a long player, even though someone doesn't know what they're doing, but it's made in Czechoslovakia or Czech Republic. Did you get one yet?
Actually, I did.
Yeah.
But the one I got for a smaller price because I went without the signatures, the autograph. I just got one without that, so it wasn't as steep as some of the other ones with the autograph included.
After the show last week, Andy and I talked for like a half hour afterwards. If you can believe, Andy talked for a half hour after the show last week. But
that's short.
Right. I had to say, I gotta go, and I did. But I love you, Andy. You're great. I love you on the show. But if I would have went on the cruise and my copy would have came unsigned, I would have been pissed.
Oh yeah, but I didn't go on the cruise.
I
have their signatures already on other things. So.
But some people that went on the cruise got their copy of that unsigned.
Yeah, and it had an insert inside it. According to I think Tom Shannon posted it up on Kiss My Wax on the Facebook page that some of them had a typed up sixth man insert in that. Unfortunately, this year, something to the effect of the band weren't able to get around to signing your copy for you.
They got tired.
Yeah, and I think he had that insert in a copy that actually was signed. So it's one of those weird situations. So there probably were some people who did not have them signed, which, come on, for the amount of coin you're dropping to go on the cruise, you expect all the doorknobs to be polished and your record to be signed properly.
Yes, they all should have been signed.
Pressed for time. Didn't get around to it.
Yeah, sorry. We'll catch you guys next year,
That's terrible.
Come back next year and we'll sign that.
Yeah, come back next year and we'll sign it.
Here's a $5 voucher, valid through December the 31st for your next Kiss cruise. So
$5 off your next Kiss cruise.
But then again, whenever you are signing stuff, shit does happen, because if they're moving those inserts around as fast as they probably need to sign them and all that, or their minions are moving them around, then I guess it is easy for some to get skipped or to run out of time. It's an onerous task, as I know, having pre-signed all the books for LA. and horrible task, and I didn't have to do 2,500 of the damn things, fortunately. So yeah, that's a really cool collectible. I got mine. I paid I think 300 with shipping, but the guy packaged it absolutely beautifully, which is one of those peeves of mine when you get one and the corners dinged. And he threw in some picks, and I think the 2 picks he gave me were, I think I got Tommy and Paul's from the what is it, the drawstring bag that they gave everyone. Had 4 picks in it, so he gave me a couple of those. He also gave me like a pre-cruise 4-pick set, so made it worth my while. So we'll see. They're going to continue to trend well on eBay, I think, because there's such a limited amount of them, and the vast majority of people who go on the cruise are not going to let you have those. You're going to have to, pay big or prize them out of their cold, dead hands. Lonnie, let's get to you. What have you been collecting recently?
Well, I don't know. Recently, I haven't been collecting as much as in the past. I haven't been, especially like what they've been putting out as far as new product lately. I really haven't been impressed with anything that says, "Oh, I got to have that." And I used to be a lot like Ken was saying, that anything they put out, I would just go get, whether I liked it or not, because it said Kiss on it. I had to go have it because it's just what I had to do. But and everybody talks about like Spencer's crap or whatever. But when I was 16, during the reunion tour, I could go to the mall and go to my local Spencer's, and there's this whole section of Kiss stuff. And when you're 16, 17 years old, that's the coolest thing in the world. Like, look at my band has this own little corner in this retail shop at the mall. So I bought out whatever Spencer's has, like those big 24-inch busts and like 24-inch dolls or whatever, the Destroyer dolls, and the heads that were quote unquote signed, and the busts that they had, and just about anything. And I really got into to the action figures that they put out, and I would collect those quite a bit.
Oh, you like
and
dolls?
I still do. I do.
The McFarlane ones.
The McFarlane ones were really cool. The ones
the
that
later
they do now,
ones.
Yeah, the ones they do now, I'm really not that impressed with. I've bought a few of them, like they did like the reissue of the Love Gun dolls, and they did like monster ones, and they did like original album and Sonic Boom ones, and I think they're actually doing Dynasty ones here pretty soon. I saw pictures of those the other day.
Might be interesting.
But yeah, if you're doing Dynasty ones, you got to do an Eric Carr one to go along with it. I think would be pretty cool. I haven't seen an Eric Carr version of that, but that'd be pretty cool to put in, because like they've done like some bonus figures with those, like the original album cover ones. They did like a Gene Hotter Than Hell, or they did like a Paul with the bandit mask. I got that downstairs, that's kind of cool. And a true Kiss fan would get that and understand that. So I wish they'd do like an Eric Carr to go along with those. That'd be kind of cool. But the action figures, for me, for a long time, were my biggest collectible. And I get any kind of action figure that they put out, whether it be, those original ones from the reunion tour, or see, and I can't put it back up right, and I got my other ones fall.
Gonna fall over on your head.
Your spot, and they had those Psycho Circus ones, which I really wasn't that impressed because they came with like the comic. Remember those? They came with like the comic book alter ego. Julian's like shaking his head at me. I can't believe you're talking about that.
Sorry,
you lost me in action figures.
You did totally lose me in action figures. I mean, I won a set once, I think, from Kiss Freaks in a competition or something, and they arrived at the person's house I was staying. This is like in early 1998, after I moved back to the States, and they arrived, and the person who owned the house opened it because she thought the package was for her, and she just looked at me when I came home, like, "What the hell are you doing buying this crap?" And they were.
That's what my wife said when we were dating, and she came over the first time. She says, "What in the hell is all this crap?"
You play with those dolls, she says, right?
And I just said, "Well,
they're not dolls; they're action figures.
I'm going to eBay them. I'm not keeping that crap."
It's the original Mego dolls. Yeah.
Well, and that brings me back home that when I first started collecting them, when I first started getting into Kiss, I was collecting any kind of action figure they'd put out, and for me the Holy Grail was the original action figures.
Mm-hmm.
That's they're not sitting right here by me, but those are my favorites, even though they're not as detailed, they're not as cool, but they're the original 78 stuff. And that's really become more and Julian, the original question was, what am I more into now? Is when I said when I first started getting into Kiss, I'd buy whatever I could get at a retail shop. And I've really gone back, and what I want now and what I really seek after now is the vintage stuff. And I don't want anything from the 90s to now. Right. So that's kind of where I'm at now. And it's the vintage stuff that really intrigues me more than anything. And it's really a shame because, like, prior to the reunion tour and prior to eBay and the internet, you could get a lot of that vintage stuff a whole lot cheaper than you can now. It skyrocketed for the reunion tour.
Yeah, I mean, come on, anything on eBay has gone stupid value in recent years. Not only the amounts that some people are willing to throw at certain items, but also the torture of having to go through eBay in many cases. And I don't know if either of you have bought on eBay and received stuff like an LP shipped in a bubble mail or a rare collectible improperly packaged.
Yeah, pizza box. Yeah. The pizza box.
The pizza. I couldn't believe that. So
that's so funny.
I bought a beautiful copy of Best of the Solo albums. Came from Australia, and the guy just chucked it in a bubble mailer, and it was snapped in half. It's actually in multiple pieces, the LP, and I was like, great. Oh.
I got the original comic book like that too, and it was just like trash when I got it. And it's just like,
no.
Why do I even? Yeah. What am I going to do with this?
I mean, you can understand certain things. I mean, I had a Belaphon German Alive come in, and it had actually been damaged by the Postal Service machining. I posted a picture of it online, and someone's like, oh, well, that's the sorting machine. So, sometimes things are out of your hand. The guy had at least put it in a proper LP mailer. He had the piece of cardboard on either side of it. Minimum, I didn't check to see if the grain of that was opposite to the grain of the box and all the kind of stuff that you do to try and strengthen it. But he'd given it its best chance. So you don't get into a fight with someone on eBay about that. You do see what you can do about the situation. But, if you haven't paid for insurance, you can't really blame the seller when they have, sent it properly. What are your kind of current favorite items that you've got? I mean, like all Kiss fans, when we ask each other, what's your favorite song? It can change on a daily or hourly basis. I mean, is there any stuff that you've got in your collection right now that is just, you're like, ooh, yeah, glad I've got that?
I don't know. There's a lot of things.
Yeah.
I mean, my original Gene Simmons pick from the Creatures of the Night tour, just stuff like that. The original lunchbox that I got originally back then, and it's still in like, great condition. It's great. There's no rust or anything, or dents, or scratches. It's still in great shape. And again, I was talking about the trash can. I love that.
The vintage stuff.
Got rid of it, yeah, and sold it. So
love it.
Those are things I enjoy. There's a lot of things. I don't know if I have a real favorite. The new favorite kind of thing would be Casteria Box. The road case thing with all the albums. I like it all. Some more than the other ones. One day I'll look at something and I go, yeah, man, I'm glad I have that. Or the belt buckles or something like that. It just could be anything. I guess that's why I bought it, because I like it. So, yeah.
Yeah, the Casteria box set is one of those collectibles. I went back, I heard it was on sale for $100 off. So I was like, okay, I'm going to pull the trigger. I'm going to do it. I'm just going to do it.
Did you?
And I'm going to break it down. I'm going to piece it out, keep the 2 records that I still want out of it. And
sell Greatest Kiss.
And
that's what Andrew was saying. You can make money back off of it real quick.
Yeah, and then I went in, I bought it. I went to the checkout. It said, this product is not available in your country. And I was like, ah.
What? Is that the one that's on sale right now?
Yeah, it was popping up for me. I don't know whether it was misreading my IP or whatever, but I could not buy it. And
go to Universal and direct and see if it's.
I did. I
there.
did. I went
Oh,
to
you did?
I went to multiple places from the official source to make sure that I got the bonus LPs, because sit in hope of getting a blank number certificate and all that, or getting a copy of Greatest Kiss with a slightly dinged corner and getting on the phone to them and reading them the riot act. I want another copy. Yeah. Send me one. So I can weigh them like Tom suggested to see if one might possibly have the insert in it. But it either knew who I was and wouldn't take my money, or knew who I was and just wouldn't take my money. So
try again. Maybe it'll be.
I don't have the money anymore. Spend it already. So
on something else.
Yeah, there. And
you lost my.
And
business.
that was one of the things that I'm really into at the moment, and they are always my favorite sort of things. And I just picked up 3 new ones in a backstage auction, and they are itineraries. So here's one.
Oh, that's nice.
Japan 2013. What were the other ones? South America 2009, and the last one is Japan 2006 with the Chumash shows, of which I went to one of those. So itineraries are real fun. They just, especially in recent years, but they don't make for very long reading matter. So I add those to my collection. I think I've got about 20 other ones going back to, going back to 79. So very fun to have. Lonnie, what about you?
Cool. For me lately, my favorite items are some of the items that I have gotten signed by the band. Like my Kiss tree that's signed by Gene, Paul, Ace, and Peter, and then as well as Eric, Bruce, and I think Tommy has signed it also. And then I have that guitar case box set from 2001, like the deluxe version of that. And I've gotten
about
Ace.
This size?
What's that?
Was it about this size?
Yeah.
That one. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it was like $120 or something like that when it came out. Something like that. And I've gotten Ace and Bruce and Eric and Tommy to sign that, and I am meeting Gene and Paul at the Rock and Brews grand opening in St. Louis in January, and it's my intention to get Gene and Paul to sign that as well. So that'll be pretty cool. And I'm really pissed off that when I met Peter Criss, I didn't have him sign it. So it really kind of grinds my gears that was really stupid. I should have gotten that signed at the same time. So, but and I guess that's my biggest thing is that that not only do I have this, but then the guys who are the band that have signed this for me, and it's something that I'll always have, not only the item itself, but the memory of watching them sign it and meeting them. Mm-hmm. Those are my favorite things that I have. And those two things are just, examples of that, just other things that when I've met members of the bands and they've signed things for me. Those are my personal favorite items that I have in my collection.
That's really cool. Do you have other autograph stuff, or do you only collect stuff that you've gotten autographed yourself?
I don't like to buy autograph. I don't like to buy autographs. You know what I mean? And especially on eBay, because you don't know what you're getting. So I only like to get something that I've witnessed and signed. And it's not, and it's just, and it's for me too. It's not something I'm going to sell or anything like that. But it's something for me, and it's about the experience of meeting that person and signing them and them giving it to me and smiling at me and shaking my hand or whatever. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So, and buying an autograph, you don't know what you're getting, especially on eBay. You just don't know. And it might really look like Gene's signature, but it might not be. It might be some schmuck in North Dakota that's. And nothing against the people in North Dakota. I don't hate North Dakota or anything. But it might some that just practice Gene's signature over and over and over again until that's about 98% right. I think I could put a few of these up. So,
yeah, I think I've only got one autographed item that means anything to me, and that's the picture of Ace that's above my desk, and I got that signed at the radio station in 2009, and that's the only thing I've kept. I've had stuff, signed copies of Paul Book I got rid of on eBay right after I got it because he didn't sign it for me. They just handed them out at the Jewish Community Center.
Copies of Paul's Book signed. I got like 5 of those downstairs. I went, overboard with that.
Yeah, so unless I and even the ones I have gotten in person before, I mean, I've gotten copies of my various books signed over the years, and I've always sold them. It's just one of those things that I guess autographs don't mean much to me, but I'm looking forward to the expo to get Peter's, and
Yeah.
trying to decide what 3 items I'm gonna bring and go through the rigmarole of trying to get signed and not break in the process. So.
I was going through my bookshelf. My wife goes, "Why do you have 5 copies of Paul Stanley's book?" Oh, well, there's a very reasonable explanation for this.
Yeah,
But I'm jealous you guys going to meet Peter in LA. When is that?
That's
January
27th. 27th. Drive down, and Peter's doing the meet and greet that evening. And I can't remember all the details of what's going in there, but I think we probably will put an LA Kiss Expo episode together around the time. And then the 28th is the actual expo. David Donato and Mark St. John's manager are going to be guests. Ken Kelly's going to be there. Pris are performing. Tim McFate and Julian Gill, authors of the new book Odyssey, will be there. Be the only time we're in the same place at the same time. It doesn't happen very often, so you'll be able to get a copy of the book with both our John Hancocks on it. And I think they still have some more people to announce. I wouldn't be surprised if there are others. Peter, of course, will be there at the expo as well, signing stuff that day. So,
so like the day before, the day after, something like that, there's like this tour you can do with Peter Criss of LA.
Yeah, the tour
Are
of
you guys
LA.
doing that?
I'm not doing that because I'll be driving
No,
back up north. I got to work, and also I don't really want to see LA. It's just it's a personal thing.
Why do you hate LA?
I went to Dodger Stadium once. That was enough of LA for me to see. So, no, I don't have the time or the inclination.
It's getting in trouble.
And I know he's got a lot of things to say about LA because there's quite a bit of kissery or Christery out there. So it'll be interesting to hear from people what he does. And that's on the Sunday, the 29th. All right, let's get back to collecting. And what are you still looking for? What are some of the stuff that you want to add to your collection? And we'll get to the Holy Grail item afterwards. So, Ken, what are you searching for? What is it that you're after these days that you cannot pass up?
I cannot pass up. I don't know.
Ooh,
I mean,
Hello Kitty.
Yeah, Hello Kitty. No, there's I've been looking. I'm gonna hopefully get a Dress to Kill one with the pipe sticker on it soon. Working on that one. And then there's probably a few other ones that I can't even think of right now. Maybe vinyl that I'm gonna try to get. I want to get like one of those French copies. I think it's with the red label.
The 82 reissues.
Yeah, I like that red label. So I don't have any of those yet. So if I get at least one, or maybe try to get at least one. I don't want to collect everything. So one vinyl from each country kind of thing. If I can somehow pull that off, at least have one vinyl from each country. I mean, I have, of course, Germany and Japan and the easy ones. But I have an El Salvador one. Of course, Mexico. So yeah, I want to try to get the other countries out there and at least get one copy.
That's like a really interesting way of approaching, and
That's cool.
You're gonna run into some real challenges when you get to places like El Salvador and Guatemala.
Yeah, well, I have one El Salvador, rock and roll over El Salvador.
You do already. Nice.
I do have that. So, but I think I have an Ecuador or something like that. But I need to get a Brazil. I know I need to get a Brazil one, not the one with the Vinnie cover.
Oh, come on, that's real.
Creatures.
What are you talking about? That's real.
That's real.
Yeah, they popped up 5 years ago, but they're real.
Yeah, I know.
100 of them popped up at the same time. I mean, it was just
Nobody ever heard of it until 5 years ago, but they're
Warehouse
real.
find.
That the ink smelt new, and they were still
mint.
warm. Yeah.
So that, yeah. But I'm going to work on the wherever they sell them, try to get at least one copy.
Lonnie, what about you? What do you still want to get into your collection? Sneak in so that it's not noticed.
That's a key word.
I'm sorry, is your wife standing beside you saying, "Yes, Lonnie, tell me what you're still..."
No, I still want, there's things out there that I still want, that have eluded me over the years, and we'll get into the Holy Grail in a little while. I got a good story about that, but that it passed me by one day in the night. But there are things that some of the vintage stuff still, like I go to vintage. I'm thinking about the Holy Grail in the back of my mind more than anything that I really want. But my buddy. I went over to his house and he has stuff that's just blows your mind. But and that's it. We should get him on the show. We should get him and Andy on the show at the same time. Oh my gosh! But
for airtime.
Exactly. For me, I don't know if there's certain items I still want more than anything, because I've spent a lot of my time going after the things that I want. There's more vinyl out there that I guess I want. I don't have, and this isn't some highly collectible item. Well, it's collectible, but it's not some unheard of item. I'd like a version of the original album without Kiss in Time on it. Original pressing. I don't have that. I have an original album from '74. It's a blue, the blue label from '74. But mine has Kiss in Time, and I'd like a good version of that. And I've seen it and I've shopped around on it. But that's kind of an item that's eluded me over the years that I'd like to have just for the sake of having. And I'm sure both of you guys have copies of that, because you guys are both big vinyl collectors. But something like that would be pretty big to me. As far as my vinyl collection goes, it's something that's kind of eluded me over the years, and maybe like the Rock and Roll Over with Paul with the teardrop misprint is something that's cool too, that I don't have, that I'd like to add, as a completion to the collection there that I've started.
What about a new tattoo?
Well, there's always room for more tattoos. And here, no. You're right, Ken. You're right.
Right.
It has eluded over the years, and this maybe this is dipping into the Holy Grail, but there's one living member of Kiss that has not signed my body.
Vinnie.
Meredith.
Gotta search him down.
Yeah, now that would be...
You better watch out, because you might one day track him down, and he will watch this episode. You'll be, Vinnie, can you please sign? And he will get his Sharpie out, and he will write on your leg where you can't quite see it, Meredith.
That would be unbelievable.
Oh, my gosh.
Now, that would be cool.
In Department B.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
That's a very good... A Vinnie Vincent tattoo, Vinnie Vincent autograph tattoo would be amazing. I don't have a Mark St. John or an Eric Carr, obviously. I would have been 11.
Yeah.
And I think that's frowned upon. I think that's frowned upon.
At that age, yeah. Well, you're still growing.
Right. I don't think that's allowed, so I don't have an Eric Carr autograph. But a Vinnie Vincent autograph. An authentic Vinnie Vincent signed my... I don't know where... I'd find a spot if I met Vinnie.
Yes.
Again, Julian's silent as I talk.
No, I could just kind of imagine the scene, and really it's not something that I really want to recount. No.
Have you guys ever met Vinnie? Either of you ever met Vinnie?
No.
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 I've chased him.
Saw him in concert.
Ken's seen him in concert twice?
If you count 3 Creature shows and one Lick It Up show, 4 times. 4 live. So 4 times I've seen him live.
That guy.
That's what Ken's concert experience.
I did not go to see the Vinnie Vincent Invasion, though. No.
That's what I want. It's Ken's Kiss concert experience.
Like
blows my mind.
3 Creatures. Oh, my goodness.
That's unbelievable.
God.
I'm sure there's people with more than me.
Oh, yeah.
But, there are.
And this is question that they always.
As far
I mean,
as-
I'm getting off topic, but real quick, this is the question they always ask. The first time you went and saw a Creature show, did you know it was going to be Vinnie, or did you think Ace was still in the band?
I don't know if I knew it was going to be Vinny. I think I knew something was up with the ad in the pink section of the San Francisco Chronicle that was always on a Sunday. It's called the Date Book back then, and I don't know if they still do that, but it had a full page ad. I have it actually somewhere. I have it here, packed away, and it had Vinny on that. It didn't say it was Vinnie Vincent. It just said Kiss, and I was like, wait a minute, that's not, that's not Ace's makeup.
So you knew something was awry.
And I don't know if I've read anything earlier before that about it. Maybe in could have been Circus or Hit Parader. It's possible, but I didn't know who was really going to be there. It sounded to me like Ace would be there, but it wasn't. So it was kind of interesting to say, oh, I guess this is a new guy. And I didn't know if he was going to be permanent or not. So, but he was good, for what he's obviously very talented.
3 Creature shows. Did you have a Look It Up show too?
Yeah, Look It Up show was probably, it was I think it was less crowd at Look It Up than Creatures for me. It seemed like it. But yeah, Look It Up was cool. Still with the tank stage, and they were firing on all cylinders. But no, I've told the story before. They had it in Berkeley, and they didn't allow the fire marshals did not allow them to shoot anything off. No fire, no nothing. So they just rocked it out, but it was still a great show.
That's cool.
Lonnie.
4 times seen. Sorry.
Yeah, get over it. Get off it. Get off. No more Creatures. That's just making me upset.
I thought you were going to yell at me for derailing the show for the second time in the episode.
Making me sad. I mean, what the hell? I went to 2 Sonic Boom tour shows.
Yeah,
and he went to 3 Creatures. Okay.
I saw him 5 times in 2009.
Yeah. Just doesn't quite work, does it? So,
it doesn't live up.
What do you still want to add into your collection?
For me, it's the pinball machine, the original pinball machine. So I'm at my buddy's house. He has the new one, and he has the old one side by side in his kiss room in his basement.
Nice.
It's freaking amazing. And the new one's really cool. And you can the new one's really cool. Like when you hit the ball a certain place a couple times in a row, and Paul Stanley goes, "I'm coming out to see ya," and this action figure Paul Stanley starts moving around. It's hilarious.
Is that right?
Oh no!
You hit the ball a certain way, and Paul Stanley goes, "Oh yeah!"
Oh no!
It's ridiculous.
That's crazy.
But as cool as that is, and it plays, the different songs as you're playing, but it's all the re-records from 08 or 09, whatever.
Yeah.
Why has someone not made a YouTube video of them playing?
We'll have to search it and see if there is one out there.
I should tell Joe to make a YouTube video of playing it.
I mean, I want to see someone playing the
demo, real demo of it.
With Paul doing that, I mean, that would just
coming out to see this Paul Stanley action figure.
Have a few beers and watch that a few times, and
there you go.
And then make a video playing the original one, and you'd be like, "Yeah, that's the one I want."
And that's what Joe said. He goes, "I don't even play my old one anymore because this new one is obviously it's 35 years later. It's so much more modern and so much more advanced than the original.
I'd rather play the old one any day.
Yeah, but the old one's just for the sake of it. The old one.
You don't want to break it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's more my speed. Nothing. Nothing.
I'd love to have the original.
Yeah, me too.
And I've probably told this on here before, just because it still grinds my gears. When I probably have, is that I saw it for in this little record store in a little town called Mount Vernon, Illinois, one day when I was just passing through, and I saw a record store, and I went in there, and he had a Kiss shirt. I goes, "Oh, you Kiss fan, come look at this." And he had the original pinball machine. It was $1,200 in 2003. It's $200 or $1,200. And I was like, "Oh, I can't do it." I kick myself to this day for not doing it. It just burns me up. But
Same thing for me. I saw one in the record store, but this is like around probably early '90s,
yeah,
around '90s somewhere,
I
and it was around $500. And I seriously thought about it. I mean, seriously, but I thought my current living conditions and how much money I had at the time and that sort of thing, I was like, I couldn't justify it. I just couldn't pull the trigger on it. I wish I did, thinking about it now, but maybe someday I'll be able to find one and buy it.
Yeah, here's the funny thing on both of those, and something that you guys mentioned earlier, is I've actually never been next to a KISS pinball machine, old or new. I've never played one. I've never seen one in person. I've also never held a Mego doll of any of them. I've never.
Oh, really?
Never touched one.
No wonder Julian did like.
Never played with a Mego doll.
Have the old ones.
I have zero interest in fixing one of those two situations. The pinball machine, I will happily stand next to and play if I ever get an opportunity. The Mego dolls, they can stay mint in box well away from me. Yeah,
I'm gonna bring you a Mego doll so you can check it out.
So you can hold it and take a picture of it.
So you can hold it, holding one. Yeah.
Yeah. The last time I had any doll, his name was Action Man, and he came with he was like the British version of G.I. Joe, and he came with all sorts of cool shit to kill people with, and that was as far as I got. And then I turned 7 and grew out of that. So
I just shot at me from out of nowhere.
Hey, to each their own. I am just not into dolls. No. Okay, so my answer to that question, what do I still want in my collection? Well, I'm not bloody well telling, because then people will snipe me on auctions and know that I want it and think they can ruin my day. There are a few things I do still collect, and it does not involve the Alive LP. I'm over that. Getting rid of those damn things. I do actually have a French Red Label, but I am done with collecting Alive. To be serious, though, I'm not going to mention any of the really cool stuff. I'm still interested in unreleased live recordings. Those are stuff I love adding to my collection. There's not a whole lot out there. There's a few things, but not anything of particular, cause people to drool by mentioning it. It would be more kind of upgrades to stuff that has already circulated, if I do manage to get a hold of any of them. There is obviously still unreleased stuff out there to be had, but money is the big thing. The other thing I'm actually collecting is Singapore polygram pressings of LPs. So, those are some of the stuff I do still want into my collection. Most of the stuff in Asia was pressed by Sung Chang out of Hong Kong until Dynasty, and then Polygram built a factory in Singapore and started pressing vinyl for Malaysia and the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, states, Malaysia, Singapore, Hong Kong, and some of the other localities.
Right.
And I've got the Elder, which had the cool parchment background added on the back for the alternative track listing. That's how they dealt with that. I got both of Peter's solo albums from there, Out of Control, Let Me Rock You. I just missed a copy of Unmasked, so I know that one's out. Killers is definitely out, and Creatures is, I believe, the last one that was pressed domestically in Singapore. Yeah, so the Creatures one is absolutely beautiful as well. I think I mentioned it on a show last week. It might not have been one of this show, but vibrant blue and super heavy cardboard and super glossy. And I found one in Kuala Lumpur in a vendor center one time, and it was the first time I ever saw the blue cover, and it was absolutely amazing. So I want that back in my collection. And cassettes. I still do go for cassettes. I've got to get rid of a load of the American ones because I'm just bored now again of those. But I've got a box full of UK and promo cassettes, which I'm going to continue trying to build up those collections. Let's talk about Holy Grail items. And that I think Lonnie's already mentioned his, and it's Meredith caressing his calf while holding a Sharpie.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's my wife's holy grail, me getting another tattoo, but
it's one you won't be able to hide it either. So
right.
No, that was always there. I mean, what, you didn't notice? What are you talking about?
That's a good story. Actually, I was in my early 20s. I was living at home, and I got a new tattoo. And I was sitting at the kitchen table and talking to my mom, and I had sweatpants on. And if you get a tattoo, it itches a couple of days afterwards. And I'm sitting there, and it's itching like crazy. And it was like in the winter, and I just got done running or something. And I'm sitting there, and I just lift up my pants leg and start scratching it. My mom goes, "What is that?" I go, and I just started laughing, and she goes, "It's not funny."
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good story. But the good story here is when I got my first tattoo, and I was living at home. And I went to see the tattoo artist, and I just gave him the Kiss Army sticker that's the same size as what's on my shoulder here. And I said, I want to do this. And he looked at it. He goes, okay, that's going to take me a little time. There's a lot of colors and a lot of detail in it. He goes, I don't have time to do it tonight. But come back tomorrow, and we'll get it done. I said, okay, great. He goes, here, sign this waiver. So I signed the waiver, and not thinking, because I'm an idiot, you put down your phone number. And I put down my home phone number and not my cell phone number.
Oh.
So you know where this is going. And the next day I'm at work, and he calls my house, and my mom answers the phone. And he goes, yeah, is Lonnie there? And she goes, no, can I take a message? He goes, yeah. He goes, yeah, this is Barber. When he comes tonight, tell him to bring the sticker.
Bring the sticker.
She's like, okay. She hangs up and calls me. She goes, some guy named Barber just called me here looking for you. And he said, when you come tonight, bring the sticker. She goes, what are you doing tonight? So I said, Mom, I'm not going to lie to you. And I'm going down the Iron Age, and I'm going to get a tattoo. And my mom's like, oh my gosh, this is a nightmare. Does your father know? I'm like, well, I think he's going to.
Oh, man.
My crystal ball funny. Says he's going to know imminently.
If you knew my mom, it's even funnier.
Oh, my.
Anyway, Ken, what's your holy grail?
So what, I'm just curious. What did you do that night? Did you just get home and say, "See, I just don't."
She wouldn't look. She wouldn't look at me for a couple of days.
Nice. Wow. I love stories like that.
It's so funny.
Ken, so like Lonnie was trying to move on. What about you?
What's a holy hijack the show again?
Tattoo of Gene Simmons makeup,
right?
On the face. But no, the Holy Grail is really the pinball machine for me. If there's something else that's kind of close, is one of those Japanese originals box sets, right? Those nice ones that go for 800, or I don't know how much they're going for right now. But one of those would be a good Holy Grail too. But yeah, I think pinball machine is pretty much the number one for me.
I'll be selling a copy of the red box.
Oh,
in LA, yeah, for $50. It's empty, and it's been torn in half.
Wait for the punchline.
Yeah, it's still the red. I bought that because I always intended to piece it out and only keep the alive from it. But those things are just gloriously beautiful. It's just an incredible. Again, the Japanese market does make some of the nicest collectibles. The problem with those is that the audio on them are sourced digitally, which isn't as good. So if you play the copy of Destroyer out of the box, either of those boxes, and compare it with, say, the 2008 or 2009 copy of vinyl that was cut in Japan on 200 gram vinyl, absolutely insane. That by far is one of the best sounding copies. The other stuff, people poo-poo it a little bit because it's digitally sourced. Not as bad as the UK US Back in Black Alive vinyl, but certainly not kind of to the audiophile standards that we hold it to. But nice booklet in there. I saw the booklet. And I think it came with a sticker set as well. So that's a nice one. I actually wouldn't mind adding the black one into my collection.
Yeah,
Again,
yeah.
a complete one, if I could get one, which it has a oversized bag with a sticker in the corner of it for the Obi, I guess, analog of what it was. And that was in such bad shape on the red one that I got, which is why I paid the price I did for it, that, I like one that's in absolute mint condition. And who knows, maybe someone will be selling one at a record fair and be able to get that. That's a good pick.
Make some money.
Yeah. I'm not sure about Holy Grails for me now. I think if there was any Holy Grail, it would have to be something along the lines of unreleased audio rather than a collectible or a vinyl. And it would have to, for me, it would have to be the Wicked Lester live tape, which...
What about Asylum Pro Shot?
I could live without the Asylum Pro Shop. I would much rather hear Wicked Lester live. I could live without Creatures Pro Shot, but I would still much rather hear, what we know about the Wicked Lester live tape is that we know the set, we know what was performed, so it would be a fantastic thing before the end to have heard all those songs and maybe get a better idea, particularly of Gene's material. So I think that'd be really fascinating to listen to. And also, I guess anything else from 73. Anything. Who knows what still exists. So for me, the Holy Grails are all rare audio. We'll find out a lot, eventually, hopefully. But, as far as collectibles go, I just don't think of anything as a Holy Grail that I would have to have, that I would mortgage. Well, I don't have a house, but that I would, cash in my retirement to buy. There's just nothing Kiss related that's worth that much to me. So, who knows? Maybe an interview of Vinnie. That's my Holy Grail. Have Vinnie
like a face to face.
That'd be good.
It would have to be face to face with Vinnie, I think. I would fly on the drop of a hat to go into. That'd be risky.
You have to tell me time and location. I'll have to stalk you out.
Yeah, no. And it goes for so many of them. I mean, it's like, well, what is a Holy Grail to me? Information, and being able to share that information. I've had 20 years of doing that with the FAQ and the books and all that. A sit down and I've said it before. A sit down interview with Tommy and Eric and talking to them about their progression from fans throughout the bands they've been in, into Kiss would just be incredibly rewarding personally, especially if you kind of got into a good rhythm with them, talking with them. That would be a Holy Grail, especially if you asked the sort of question that uncovered some interesting new information. All that kind of thing. Information is gold to me. It's like, what do we discover that's new? Do we discover a band that they've played in, or remember the Olivia Newton-John video, surfacing with Eric in it? I mean, that stuff to me is better than a collectible that sits in a box or on a shelf and doesn't do anything, because it's knowledge. It's like the gift that keeps on giving. So that's my Holy Grail.
Yeah. Cool.
Well,
Cool.
We're approaching an hour here. Let's just talk quickly. Last week, Kiss played a show in, where did they play? Tijuana.
Tijuana in the Creatures outfits.
Second show for the public, or for the rabble, shall we say, not the hoity-toities who go on a cruise, right, Lovey?
Where's Andy?
I have the Gilligan's Island theme going in my head right now.
Tour.
A 5-day tour. But they changed up the set list and they got rid of the Creature stuff and replaced it with Take Me.
Has anyone seen a video of that? I haven't seen a Take Me video.
I have not.
I was looking for it, and someone must have taped it. Right?
Yeah,
I think so.
I haven't seen anything for either of these two shows yet that they did over the past 2 weeks. But
I've seen a couple.
You know what? They're playing to, you know what,
Just a couple of still shots. That's about it.
Yes, they're playing to 16,000 people in Tijuana, you know, which is going to be your average crowd of people. Oh, let's go see Kiss, you know. And I think that was a really good set list. You know, there's a lot of bashing going on for taking Keep Me Coming, Rock and Roll Hell, and, you know, out of the set, and Creatures of the Night as well, for that matter. But Take Me?
I was gonna say, yeah, Take Me's great.
Take Me's great.
I was gonna say though that people were complaining about the first Mexico show that they kept the same set list and the creatures' outfits, so the people that were on the cruise.
Oh, boo-hoo! Oh, they played Keep Me Coming.
It's like, why can't they keep? You know.
I paid for the right. That's my set list. How dare they perform it for someone else? You know. Yeah. But I thought it was.
They played Keep Me Coming for the third time since 1982. How terrible!
So yeah, that was interesting, but.
Need to put an image of the Simpsons characters carrying pitchforks and fires. You know, the Kiss fans react to someone else getting to hear "Keep Me Coming."
Or the comic book guy go, "Worst show ever."
I do, yeah. I do like the creatures' outfits better than the monster outfits.
The creatures' outfits are just.
The creatures' outfits are fantastic.
You know, they're not going to keep them, are they?
No,
is it
not.
too?
I think so.
It's sad, but they're not.
They just look fantastic. I mean, yeah, it's a shame, but you know what? And here's another thing for, you know, kind of the complainers. 1 week in Mexico they do one set, and 1 week in Mexico they do a completely different one. They mixed it up. How about that? You know,
no, we still don't like it.
And they threw in "Take Me" and "I Was Made for Loving You," which I never want to hear again. But that's not the point. They mixed it up. So
but they played "Take Me." God damn.
Yeah. I mean,
yeah.
I would love.
Awesome.
If I'd been there, I would have been happy because they played Deuce. You know, that's just how I roll. I'm a happy guy, and you know, if you get to shock me, I would have been mildly annoyed as always. He shouldn't be doing that. He's Tommy. He's not a. And then then they would hit me with "Take Me," and that's just like a shut up song. You know. Oh,
right.
You know, so. Pretty cool.
Yeah.
I think there's still hope for the band to surprise you when you least expect it, and that's the fun thing. I don't think anyone expected them to get off the boat and not put the monster costumes back on for these 2 shows. I don't think anyone expected for them to do the cruise set list at a Mexico show.
No.
And I don't think anyone expected them to change it up so drastically the next show, you know, and throw in "Take Me." So for what it's worth, for, you know, those of us who do continuously complain about what they play when we're not even at the shows, it's hopeful for the future. So
yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they play at the Oklahoma show in February and at that Nevada show in April, and what they wear at those shows.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, you know, and you know, they've in the last couple of years they've done a couple one-off shows like that over the winter just to kind of keep things going a little bit in between tours. So it'll be interesting to see how they approach those 2 shows.
We may get new costumes, you know, possibly.
If there's a new album, I bet we do.
After the new album.
If there's a new album, I bet we get new costumes.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, and I bet they're a bit lighter than, you know, because there are a few. They're
well, even Gene, you've seen how Gene, like, though that original monster outfit for Gene was like huge, and if you look at it recently, those shoulder pads have really shrunk down quite a bit.
Yeah, I mean,
so I think they will be quite a bit
make it easier on themselves. I mean, for everything that they go through.
Absolutely.
I mean, come on, Tommy's got it easiest. You know, I guess Eric does as well, for that matter. But
true.
You know, for Paul and Gene to be comfortable, so they can just perform and focus on that, it makes sense. I'm not that bothered by the costumes. They could throw on the 1973-74 leathers for all I care, and
yeah.
I'd be totally pleased with those. So there we go. You know, it sounds like 2017, there's supposed to be a Europe tour, and that's kind of like the early kind of gossip right now. Absolutely no factual evidence behind that at this point, but wouldn't be surprised. You know, they kind of did the U.S. last year, the minor market, so would not be surprised, but it'll be interesting to see what they do and whether they do indeed do some recording next year. I hope so. I'm always up.
You have to wait and see. You have to wait and see.
I'll believe
it when they're in the studio.
I'll believe it when they're completed being in the studio.
Yeah.
All right, so let's bring this one to an end. That was a topic roulette of, you know, some of our collecting perspectives, some of the things that we like, why don't you join us on one of the threads on Facebook, on the FAQ message board, on YouTube, or wherever you happen to listen to the show, and share with some of your collecting passions, some of the things that you're proudest to have in your collection. And do not tell us that you've got Vinnie Vincent in Tupperware under your sofa. We've heard that one before, but we do like to hear what people are into, what you're looking for. It's always great as well to hear what people are searching for, because you never know what someone might read and be able to help you out with. It is the Kiss Army, after all. We do thank you for listening, as always. And Lonnie and Ken, thank you for joining me at such short notice today.
Oh, sure.
And Andrew, you owe me a beer. So
yeah, Andrew.
You owe Lonnie a beer as well. And Ken a beer.
Internet.
Yeah.
Nah, hope he got it. Hope he got his internet fixed. So, thank you everyone, and we will see you next time. Thank you for spending time listening to the KissFAQ podcast today. All sales are final. There are no refunds. If you'd like, look us up on Facebook or come over to the KissFAQ message board and discuss the topic we broadcast today. Don't forget to rate us on iTunes, Spreaker, or wherever you've listened to the show. We hope you'll join us again.